Welcome back, Tyrants. We are finally back in the One Piece chapters. Chapter 992 just dropped today, and now we can talk about it. We start off with conversations between Big Mom Perospero and Marco. And like I thought in chapter 989, when Robin and Jinbei pretty much got her out of the way, they ended up rolling her out to the entrance where Marco and Perospero were. So she's ended up here, and it looks like Perospero has already made his complaints known about the alliance between Kaido and Big Mom. He pretty much said that we don't want any of that, we want you to be king of the pirates, we don't want Kaido involved at all. And Big Mom says something very interesting. She says she knows that already and to just trust her. Now a lot of us have been speculating that Big Mom isn't exactly going to be 100% into this alliance, that there's something else she's getting out of this or planning with this. And I think this kind of just furthers that idea. It sounds like she knows what she's doing and she went into this alliance with a plan to become king of the pirates. So whether it's using Kaido to, get a hold of ancient weapons, or just using his name and his power to kind of clear out other enemies, we're not entirely sure, but it seems like she has a plan. When it comes to Perospero's reaction to Big Mom asking for trust, it's kind of confusing because he complies with it. He says, okay, if that's how you see it, that's fine, we'll go with it. And I don't know if he's doing this out of fear or if he actually believes Big Mom has a solid plan, because the way he speaks and the shading over his eyes, it seems like he's just saying yes because it's Big Mom, but he still has reservations. He's still worried about the plan. And honestly, I don't find that too surprising, because as the elder son, he kind of knows the way Big Mom works probably the best of anyone. And I think he's seen Big Mom's plan, so to speak, and they don't always go the best. So he definitely could have some reservations because he's worried that Big Mom's plan might fail, or that it could cause more problems than do any good for her. So I'd like to see more about maybe what the rest of the Big Mom pirates think about this alliance. See them actually voice their opinions rather than Big Mom just saying, no, I'm Big Mom, trust me. Marco is also here, and after witnessing that conversation, he kind of mentions that, okay, so if you're not going to be fighting Kaido, we're not going to be an alliance, we're not going to work together. Now, if this means he's going to try and fight them now, or if he's just going to go back, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think he's going to try and pick a fight here with Perospero and Big Mom. That doesn't seem like a fight Marco wins. So I'm guessing he's going to be heading back to the rest of the alliance to help them out. We do get an interesting conversation between Big Mom and Marco, in which Big Mom's kind of chastising him for helping the new generation, the worst generation, and saying that, is this what Whitebeard would have wanted? And Marco kind of, he kind of brushes it off saying, well, Whitebeard's gone now, so we have our own will and our own freedom to do what we want. Big Mom says, fine, do whatever, but it's weird because Marco's clear goal is to take down Kaido, along with the rest of the alliance. And for Big Mom to say, fine, go ahead, that also furthers the idea that, at some point she's going to betray Kaido. At some point, Kaido will no longer be an ally, so she doesn't really care if Marco is trying to take down Kaido. She's literally just there to use him and leave. And it also makes me think about some chapters ago, I don't remember the exact chapter, but it's the chapter when all of the Scabbards attack Kaido, and he falls to the ground, and Big Mom kind of nonchalantly says, well, is Kaido dead? It seemingly more and more like she really doesn't care about Kaido at all. And I say care as in the sense of the alliance, not like cares him as a person, but like she doesn't care what happens to him during this alliance. She has a clear goal and she's using him for that goal. When he's out of the picture, he's out of the picture. She's going to keep moving no matter what. So that seems like the feeling I get from Big Mom at this point in time. Whether that changes, what the big favor Kaido owes her is, we've still got some questions for that. But it's seeming more and more like we're going to get a Big Mom betrayal here sometime soon. And then we go into a few small segments in between kind of like the big stuff of this chapter. We have Carrot, who mentions that she saw someone and she's going to avenge Pedro. So that probably means that she saw Perospero and she wants to go fight him. Now, I don't see her winning that fight, even with Sulong, because Big Mom's there. Big Mom will shut that down fairly easily. So I'm not entirely sure what she's going to do or why she's kind of picking this fight, but we'll see how that goes. We also get a shot of Black Maria, who apparently isn't really doing much in this kind of raid, which is odd because, you know, Kaido gave her an order to find Yamato, King gave out the orders to stop Luffy, and she's kind of been, I don't know, just away, just gone. It doesn't look like she's concerned or worried about anything at all. She's literally just off on her own doing nothing, which is weird. It strikes me as weird because she's one of the Flying Six, you know, she's supposed to be one of the strongest, and yet she really hasn't done anything. And not necessarily saying that the other six have done something, but they're active. You know, you got Sasuke, who's free now, and he's going for Denjiro. You have who's taking out Drake. You know, you have Page 1, you have Ulti, they're fighting Yamato or Luffy or Nami and Usopp. Everyone's kind of doing something, yet Black Maria is kind of just off playing the shamisen. And it could be the possibility that she's going to be the one who plays us out of this act, because we've had a shamisen player in every act kind of end the act completely before moving on to the next one. So that could be her role, but it strikes me as odd that a member of the Flying Six, their role is only to end the arc and not to be a part of the action at all. But as she plays, we begin to shift over to the fight between Kaido and the Scabbards. And luckily we are actually seeing some fight. We are seeing named moves. We are seeing attack patterns. We're seeing what happens here, you know, we're finally getting that fight that's not off screen, which is awesome. The only problem people are going to have is that it's a fight against Kaido in which people are doing damage to him. People are going to hate that no matter what. So it's, I don't know. You can't please everybody. Personally, I'm enjoying what we get this chapter. I like what we see. And I'll talk about that a little bit in a sec. But the fighting has truly begun, and we get shots of pretty much everyone using a special move of their own. They all, you know, Inuyasha, Nekomamushi, Kawamatsu, they all have their own, you know, Kappa style, dog style, cat style. They have all their own abilities that they're using, and they're all doing damage to Kaido. Now, at some point, Kawamatsu does get tagged, and he gets tagged hard. You know, he gets hit, and he goes crashing through a mountain, and I'm not entirely sure where he's at now. But I doubt he's out of the picture yet, but he definitely took a nice hit. And that also just, it's a side feat for Kaido. I mean, clearly in dragon form, I think he has more special abilities than he does like physical strength and defense, but that just shows that he's got good physical strength as well, which isn't surprising, but worth noting. It's also worth noting that each of the moves they're throwing out are dealing damage to Kaido to a point where, you know, they're getting some blood. And even Kaido mentions that everyone's using different styles, everyone's using their own techniques that are different from Odin's, so why is he being affected by them? Why do they still draw blood? The answer to that seems to be Ryo, but not just Ryo. It seems like there's a special technique or special usage of Ryo that Odin knew and that he taught to the Scabbards. Because while he didn't teach them the Odin Nitoryu style, he taught them about Ryo, and he taught them how to use it and how to use it properly. So what we're seeing is them incorporate Ryo in their own movesets, in their own fighting styles. And that was kind of the point, was that they kept their own fighting style, but they adopted something of Odin, which was his Ryo. So that appears to be why they're able to affect Kaido so much. Now, it is kind of weird that we see so much competence from all of the Scabbards now. When, you know, traveling with them through Dressrosa or Zoe, we see a different side of them. They don't seem as competent. They don't seem as strong as they do right now. And while I admit it is a little bit jarring just to see it, I don't think it's impossible or unheard of. I mean, this is the fight they've been waiting 20 years for. This is what they've been training for this whole time. So the amount of effort and the amount of energy and just their will they're putting into this fight alone, it outclasses anything they've ever been through. So of course they're going to be stronger here. Of course they're going to put their all in here. I mean, they don't have a choice at this point. They're going against Kaido. If they don't put in their all, if they don't do everything they can, Kaido is going to kill them in probably 1 or 2 shots. So it's a matter of life and death. Either they go all in or they die. One thing I want to point out on Kaido's end is that it looks like he has the ability to summon thunder with his roar. He uses it twice, and they even comment on it that his roars turn to thunder. What I find interesting about this is that in the One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 game, Kaido seems to have that ability. Now, if you're not familiar with the game, it was released some time ago. Definitely before this chapter, but I think before we really got deep into the raid, Pirate Warriors 4 was out and released. So what's interesting here is that it looks like moves that he's using in Pirate Warriors 4 seem to be the same moves he's using now, because we have Boral Breath, we have, summoning thunder, and we have him roaring. Those 3 things are pretty much his moveset in the game, which I just find interesting just because, the game to a certain extent can't finish the story. So at a certain part, it starts creating its own story, but you never really know which elements they've derived from Oda and which elements they've kind of created for a game storytelling purpose. Now, at the end of the chapter, we get the 4 Scabbards, which I think might be the strongest of the group, or I think that's at least what the story is trying to tell us, that these 4 are possibly the strongest, because we have Kinemon, we have Ashura Doji, we have Denjiro, and we have Inuyasha. And it could also just be because they're swordsmen, but Kawamatsu's left out of this picture. But essentially we have these 4 men standing before Kaido, and they all take the Odin stance, and I believe they use the same moves that Odin used when he initially scarred Kaido. And they hit him in the same spot and, deal the same kind of damage that Odin did long ago. So obviously this is like their revenge for Odin. Kaido's eyes are wide, just like when Odin hit him last time. It's pretty much an homage to what Odin did so long ago. Now here's the thing. I think what we are seeing is the Scabbards give it their all, only for it to eventually not matter. What I'm saying is, I don't think, the damage we're seeing Kaido take in this chapter, I don't think that's going to mean too much. Yes, they're getting blood. Yes, they're leaving scars. I don't know if he can heal through those. I don't know if those are just, superficial wounds, if they'll go away eventually. But either way, in the next upcoming chapters, I think we're going to see the battle turn tides in Kaido's favor. And the only thing changing is going to be how Kaido addresses this fight. At this point, it seems like he's still trying to figure out why they're able to hurt him. He's less, figuring out how to fight them and just trying to figure out why they hurt. I feel like once he figures that out, or once he kind of gets in the mindset of they have that ability now, he's going to switch gears. And he's going to switch into gears in which he starts dealing out tons of damage. I don't think Dragon Form is his best form for a 9v1 fight. I really don't. I think he needs to switch to, his human form, his hybrid form. Dragon Form just seems too big and too bulky. It's got strength, it's got damage, you can fly, but I think it's just too big of a target for 9 very strong individuals. I think in the next 2 chapters, we're going to see more of like what happened to Kawamatsu, where he's going to be a lot more offensive and he's going to be a lot more effective. And the Scabbards won't be able to hold out for much longer. As far as everyone else, I think we're still kind of in the same spot we were last chapter, with some setup fights, some traveling. Like, I think Luffy's still moving forward. We still have Nami and Usopp with page 1 and ulti. So things haven't really changed on that end. I think we'll probably see more of that intermixed with the Kaido fight. I think we're going to be switching back and forth up until chapter 1000, where we'll see eventually, I think chapter 1000, Luffy is going to be where Kaido is, and the Scabbards will be defeated. I think that's where we might end up. As far as the other matchups, I'm still not really sure. I don't know if Zoro and King, Sanji and Queen, if that's going to be a thing. I don't actually know if Nami and Usopp are going to fight Page 1 and Ulti. I don't know what's going to happen with Who's Who, with Drake, with Apu. There's still a lot of open fights that I'm not entirely sure who gets what. It still seems to just be a giant clash of people fighting against people. And I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get it spaced out as much as we did in S Lobby, but I feel like we're going to be getting some setups for fights, more clear setups for fights here really soon. But that's going to be it for me. I enjoyed the chapter. I hope you guys did too. Please leave a like, dislike, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel. Have a great day.